I was babysitting my 6-year-old nephew. He said it so quietly, I almost thought I'd imagined it. His lips trembling, eyes wet, his small voice trembling through the weight of something too heavy for a 6-year-old to carry. I don't want to go home. At first I thought it was the usual reluctance of a child, wanting to stay, to keep playing, to delay bedtime. But then his hands clutched my arm with a force that didn't belong to a boy his size. He buried his face against me, his body shaking like he'd been holding it in for too long. I crouched, tried to calm him, tried to meet his eyes. "Why not, buddy?" He whispered it. The words landed inside me like ice water poured directly into my chest. "Come to the place, and you'll see." I didn't press, not then, but his face, those frightened eyes, told me enough. Children don't invent fear that pure. So when his mother texted, "Be there in 10," I smiled at him, lied, told him everything would be okay. Then, when she picked him up, I followed. Quiet, unseen. At her driveway, I didn't knock, didn't walk to the door. I drifted to the side, past the hedges, until I reached the garage. One small, grimy window. I peered inside, and my heart stopped. At first, it didn't make sense. Shadows against the dim light, a rhythm that belonged to flesh and hunger. Two bodies where there should have been only one. Her, my sister-in-law, his mother, and him, someone who wasn't my brother. The boy's father, my brother, away for work, trusting, blind. The betrayal was physical, yes, but beneath it was something far worse. A child doesn't cry that way for nothing. A child doesn't beg not to go home unless the home itself has turned into a cage. I pulled back from the window before they could see me. My pulse was steady, unnaturally so. The kind of calm that comes when the world tilts, when the ground breaks open and you fall into the dark. I thought about calling my brother, but what would I say? That I'd caught her? That I'd seen? He wouldn't believe me, not at first. No man wants to believe his world is already ash. So I said nothing, not yet. I let suspicion ferment. I let it grow sharp. Over the next weeks, I wore a mask, smiled at family dinners, patted my nephew's head, watched my sister-in-law's eyes as they flicked too quickly toward her phone, watched the way she avoided her husband's touch. I started collecting little things. I checked phone records, numbers saved under innocent names, Anna, David, but with call times that stretched past midnight. I tracked her errands, grocery trips that lasted 3 hours, returning with only milk. Even the boy gave me pieces, drawings. He'd sit quietly, crayons scratching. Pictures of a man with a face he didn't recognize as Daddy. And when I asked, he would only shake his head. Each detail was a nail, and I hammered them into silence one by one. Inside, I seethed. Outside, I was still, controlled. I could have screamed, but that would have been too easy. Rage wastes itself in noise. I wanted precision. I wanted her to see her world collapse with the same quiet force my nephew's voice had carried when he whispered to me. It came with the DNA test. My brother's idea, not mine. A routine check for ancestry health markers, a harmless curiosity. But when the results arrived, his name wasn't the only one in question. The boy, my nephew, not his. My brother handed me the papers with shaking hands, confusion in his eyes, still searching for a mistake, still desperate for the world to be what he believed it to be. I didn't shake. I didn't look surprised. Instead, I looked at her. I asked her one question. Do you want to tell him, or should I? Her face drained of blood. Her mouth opened, closed, stuttered soundless words. My brother stared, waiting for denial, for reassurance, for anything but the silence she gave him. Silence is an answer, and it hit harder than any scream could. I didn't rage, I didn't shout. I simply slid the DNA papers across the table, pushing them toward her. then folded my hands, calm. "You've already been replaced once," I said, my voice even. "He doesn't need a mother like you." The words landed like steel. She broke. Tears came, frantic explanations, apologies that fell to the floor like broken glass. My brother sat in shock, his hands trembling against the table, the last pieces of his illusion cutting into his skin. I looked at the boy, standing in the doorway, his small frame, his wide eyes. I met his gaze, gave him the smallest nod. He understood. He understood. He clung to me, not her. That was enough. In the days that followed, I watched from a distance as her world unraveled. My brother moved out. Papers were filed. The man she betrayed him with vanished the moment truth touched daylight. She was left in silence, in the house she once filled with lies. As for me, I felt no triumph, no joy, only clarity. Betrayal is not fire. It doesn't burn clean. It rots, quietly, from the inside out. And when it's exposed, there is no repairing what's already decayed. I walk past her house sometimes. The garage window's still there, dirty and dim. I never look inside again. I don't need to. The truth is permanent. And so is the silence it leaves behind. I didn't destroy her life. I only opened the window wide enough for the rot to breathe.